And now, as before, as we did in case of without matrix notation, that this epsilon is in without matrix notation. If you scroll it up and go to this expression, so we have assumed that this epsilon is normally distributed with mean 0 and variance sigma square. And now look at the first error when t was 1. When t is 1, epsilon 1 is normal. When t is 2, epsilon 2 is also normally distributed. So all these errors, epsilon 1, epsilon 2 going up to epsilon t, they are random variables. So they are normally distributed. So when each of these epsilon 1 going up to epsilon t, they are normally distributed, and each has mean 0 and each has variance fixed sigma square, some constant variance. So we say that this epsilon, which is actually this vector, this epsilon, since this epsilon 1 is normal, epsilon 2 is normal, epsilon 3 and going and so on up to epsilon t is normal. So, and all these are considered as an element of this big epsilon, which is a vector of errors. So if first component is normally distributed, second one is normally distributed, so then by property this epsilon, big epsilon, it will also be normally distributed. So that's why here this epsilon, it is normally distributed as well. And then as before, we need to calculate its expected value, question mark, and then instead of variance of epsilon, we need to calculate here the covariance of epsilon. So now how to fill these question marks? What will come here to the question in the question marks? So expected epsilon is the mean of this vector of errors and the covariance matrix. So because now we are dealing with the matrix notation, so instead of variance, the second argument is now the variance covariance matrix of big epsilon or capital epsilon. And so in the next few steps, I'm going to calculate these two expressions. So how we can do this? So first I'm going to calculate this expected epsilon. So in order to derive the expression for expected epsilon, consider this epsilon, which is a vector containing containing t errors starting from epsilon 1 to epsilon t. So now take mathematical expectation or sample expectation on both sides, because we need this expected value. So apply expectation to the left and to the right hand side. Now here on the right hand side, this expectation is taken of a vector. So by rule of matrices or vectors, expected value of vector is actually expected value of each element of this vector. So this expectation, it will be applied to each element. So it will be applied to this epsilon 1, it becomes expected epsilon 1, then expected epsilon 2, expected epsilon 3 and expected epsilon t. And this expected epsilon 1, it is 0. This we already know from this basic mathematics, that look at here, expected epsilon 1 is 0, expected epsilon 2 is also 0 and expected epsilon t is 0. This is by assumption. So that's why here this replacing expected epsilon by 0 and going up to expected epsilon t is 0. So we get a vector with all entries 0. So this is actually called a 0 vector or null vector, and it is generally denoted by big O or capital O. And here it is a good idea to write the order of this vector in the subscripts. So its dimension is t rows 1 column, because here we see the t rows, and if you are struggling with this dimension or order, you can simply scroll it up, and here you can simply count that 1, 2, 3 and t. It has t rows, so its order, and only 1 column, so its order is t by 1, and we have the same elements here. So of course this is this vector contains t rows and 1 column. So notationally it is O with order t by 1. By the way, this writing order is optional, but it is a good practice to write orders as a subscript. to the matrix or vector. So now we have derived this expression, the expected value of epsilon. Now the next agenda is to find the variance covariance matrix, or simply the covariance of this epsilon. In order to calculate the covariance, so here is some calculation that I did. So covariance of epsilon is actually the covariance of epsilon with itself. The general formula for the covariance in case of multivariate case, because here we have this epsilon, it is a vector containing t elements. So if we are focusing, let's say, only on this epsilon 1, then we will consider only the variance, that is sufficient. But if we are considering the vector, then we need to take the variation, that how epsilon 1 varies corresponding to epsilon 2 or epsilon 3 as well. So we need to take all possible combinations. So we need to focus on the covariance. So the covariance is calculated as expected value of epsilon minus expected epsilon into epsilon minus expected epsilon, and the transpose, this dash operator, it is the transpose. So transpose of this second expression, epsilon minus expected epsilon transpose. So this is so actually the formula of covariance is covariance of x comma y. The covariance, if x and y are two random variables, so the formula of covariance of x and y is expected x minus ex into y minus ey, and transpose on this second expression. Since we are finding the covariance of epsilon, which is actually the covariance of epsilon with itself, so that's why at both places we are seeing this epsilon here and minus expected value, and epsilon minus expected value, but transpose on this second expression. And now this expected epsilon, this we have derived just in the last step, that this expected epsilon is big O or null vector O. So now here replace this expected epsilon with big O, replace this expected epsilon with big O as well. So we are left with epsilon minus O, epsilon minus O. Recall that this epsilon is a vector containing errors, minus null vector 0 0 0. So anything minus 0 is just this epsilon, and anything minus 0 is just this epsilon, but we need to use the transpose on the second epsilon. So this is the final form of this covariance matrix. Now in the next step, replace this epsilon with its full vector form, epsilon 1, epsilon 2 and epsilon t, and then epsilon transpose. Transpose means changing rows into column or column into rows. This is a vector having only one column, so changing it to in the form of rows, we get this epsilon 1, epsilon 2, epsilon t. So once we get this expression, scroll it down, and now before applying expectation, you need to multiply these two vectors. So this is column vector, this is row vector. So actually these two are matrices. If a matrix has only one column, it is also called a column vector, and if a matrix has only one row, as in this case, it is called row vector. So now we need to multiply these two. So first row with first column, epsilon 1 with epsilon 1, we get this epsilon 1 square, and then first row epsilon 1 with epsilon 2, we write it here epsilon 1 2, then first row with third column epsilon 1 epsilon 3, then epsilon 1 with epsilon t. So this completes this first element multiplication with this row vector. Now start with epsilon 2, this first row with first column epsilon 2 with 1, epsilon 2 1, then epsilon 2 with 2 2 square, then epsilon 2 with 3 2 3, and epsilon 2 with t 2t, and similarly 3 with 1, 3 with 2, 3 with 3 3 square, and 3 with t. So here please update it, this is epsilon 3t, and in the end going to the last epsilon t with 1, epsilon t1 t2 t3 and t square. So we obtained this matrix. Now we need to take expectation, expected value of this matrix. By mathematical rule from linear algebra, if we need to take expected value of a matrix, it actually gets applied to each element of this matrix. So expected value of epsilon 1, so it is applied here, and then expected value of epsilon 1 to this one, then expected value of epsilon 1, 3 and so on 1t. So you can see that we obtained a new matrix with each element is actually the expectation of certain number. So a certain expression. So we have this expression. So now in order to further simplify this expression, we need some assumptions that we are going to discuss now. So two key assumptions are required in order to simplify this expression further. The first assumption is the assumption of homoscedasticity of errors or constant variance of errors. So the assumption of this linear regression model is that variance of error term is constant. So this assumption is mathematically, although we have used this notation at the start, but now we are going to dig it deep. So variance of epsilon t is sigma square and t ranges from 1 to t. So look at this expression. When this subscript t is replaced with 1, we get variance of epsilon 1. It means the variance of first error. It is sigma square. Suppose sigma square is by definition it is a positive constant. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 1000, it can be 0.1, but it can never be a negative number. It is any positive constant. So what you need to do, just replace this subscript t by 1, we get variance of epsilon 1, and suppose this sigma square is 5. We set this sigma square to any constant, say 5. So variance of epsilon 1 is 5, then variance of epsilon 2 when t is replaced with 2, it is sigma square or 5, variance of epsilon 3 is 5, variance of epsilon 4 is 5. So it means all the errors starting from epsilon 1 to epsilon capital T, they have variance this sigma square, or if sigma square is 5, so it means all the errors their variance is 5, where 5 is any constant. So this is this homoscedasticity assumption. By the way, this homo means same and skedastic means spread. So same spread means constant variance or same variance. So this is how we can write this assumption of homoscedasticity or constancy of variance of error using this mathematical formula. And in a future lecture, we will discuss a topic where instead of homoscedasticity, we will discuss the hetero. So hetero means, so let me write here. So heteroscedasticity. So heteroscedasticity means, hetero means different, and again the skedastic means spread. So different spread. Different spread means the variance is no longer constant. So that is a topic that we will cover in a later topic, but currently focusing on homoscedasticity, constant variance. So this is how we can translate, we can write this expression for the constancy of variance. So from basic statistics courses, we know that variance of a random variable x is expected value of x square minus expected value of x whole square. Now instead of x, we have this epsilon t as a random variable. So variance of epsilon t is expected value of epsilon t square minus expected value of epsilon t whole square. And now this second expression, expected epsilon t, we know that expected of epsilon t, mean of error term is 0 by assumption that we discussed above. So we replace this thing by 0. So 0 square is 0. So this gets drop out. So we are left with this variance of epsilon t. In this case, it is equal to expected value of epsilon t square. So please note that whenever the mean of error term is assumed to be 0, so variance of epsilon t is mathematically, it can be written in this format. So it is actually expected value of epsilon t square. So now variance, so look at this thing. So variance is constant. So here this second expression, so now this variance is expected epsilon t square because we did hit here, and this is equal to this sigma square. So it means variance is sigma square. In other words, it means that expected epsilon t is sigma square, t square is sigma square, and this is actually I have highlighted it here. Expected value of epsilon t square is sigma square, where t ranges from 1 to t. So in future, when you see this expression or this expression, variance of epsilon t equals sigma square, it means the same. This expression, variance of epsilon t is sigma square, t ranges from 1 to t, or expected value of epsilon t square is equal to sigma square, t ranges from 1 to t. These both expressions, they actually denote the mathematical form of this homoscedasticity assumption or constancy of variance assumption. So variance of error, constancy of variance of error means error term, errors have constant variance. So we need to apply this assumption to simplify this expression. So look at here, by the way. So expected of epsilon t square is sigma square. Now replace this subscript t by 1. So we get what? Expected value of epsilon 1 square is sigma square. And this is exactly this expression, expected epsilon 1 square. So in next step I will replace this entry by sigma square. And similarly, look at here, expected epsilon 2 square. This is when we change the subscript with, instead of 1 now 2, and then epsilon 3 square and epsilon capital T square. So all these diagonal entries, they will be replaced with sigma square and sigma square. So here, expected epsilon 1 square sigma square, expected epsilon 2 square sigma square, and expected epsilon capital T square sigma square. So by using this assumption, we can simplify this. We can replace these diagonal entries with the sigma square, and here at the end sigma square as well.